Hi, welcome to my channel, and I do hope that you have had the opportunity to see some of the earlier videos that I had posted. In this video, I'm going to be talking about sales management. This is for those people who have strived hard, worked hard to get to that place where they had wanted to be, which is actually managing a team. Till now, you have led. Now you have to lead. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing some of those key attributes that sales managers must have or develop, especially during these extraordinary times where it's all work from home, virtual sales, virtual meetings, people living alone, not getting to interact as a team physically. So there are a lot of things that sales managers must bring into play as part of their management technique or management process. I've been in sales for a long time, more than 40 plus years. I've managed many sales teams. I have trained, mentored, and managed sales managers. So I do understand the challenges that sales managers typically face. And let me tell you, more often than not, it is self-created. So I want to, in this video, try and address those key attributes that sales managers must have. Sales management is not only about achieving targets. It is about being able to maintain a balance between the team that should view you as a leader and the management who should view as a mature manager. If you do this well, then you would be able to not only be a consistent performer and get the best out of your team, but also be considered for larger roles by management because they view you as a mature person being able to handle larger responsibilities, bigger roles. So the first thing that we need to understand as a sales manager is that we are actually representing the management. Let's not forget that. Whilst we should be an empathetic leader, we should understand what is it that we should work with our team, what is it that we should make them feel comfortable about. All that is very well, but at the same time, you must understand that you represent the management. You should bring that maturity to the table where you are able to correctly represent and interpret management requirements, management objectives. Be fully aligned with what the management requires from the team for the organization and for the larger business plan. You must be fully aware of it and be able to translate it in the right terms to the team so that the team gets aligned with it. If you're able to do this correctly, then you will have a team also that is along with you aligned with the management goals. If all are aligned with the management goals, then achieving targets consistently becomes that much easier. Set achievable targets. Managers have a tendency to pad whatever target has been given by management with this belief that, the typical saying, if you aim for the sky, you will at least reach the treetops. It doesn't work. When you're setting targets, please ensure that you're not risk insuring yourself by adding that little bit. Even if they don't achieve that, if they achieve a little less, at least I will be closer to my target with my management. You have to, when you're setting targets, you must apply the same principles that you applied to yourself when you fought targets, when you were given targets by your manager. Make it achievable. Make the target achievable and a little more. If you give that little more, not only will the team feel that it is achievable with a little bit of effort, but when they do achieve it, it will also give them a sense of achievement, sense of accomplishment. So you must fix a number as a target that is acceptable to both management as well as the team. The team is very important because the management can give you any kind of number, but if the team is unable to achieve it or is not confident of achieving it, then you are in trouble. Managing your team. Managing your team, especially in today's environment of work from home, remote working. Teams are not connected daily. They're not connected the way they were before this COVID thing happened. So you need to know how to manage your team, how to handle your team. There has to be a lot more empathy. Don't forget that they are exposed to a lot of news which is not very comfortable, which is not very good sometimes. They are facing difficulties. They are in a stressed environment at home because it's a new situation. They have their family there. Their work, the family intrudes into their work. So they are under a lot of stress. It is very important that as a manager, you must understand the kind of stress that they might be going through and be able to come up with a technique that will address that. You must be very empathetic. You must make sure that you are a manager that you wanted for yourself when you were a salesman. What were all those problems that you had with your manager, especially in terms of the way they treated you, the way managers dictated terms through diktats and expected you to perform? Now, if you want to understand what are those management principles you need to bring to the table, just look at all those do's and don'ts that you always thought of, you always dreamt of when you were a salesman, when you were being put through all those stress. That will give you a good set of do's and don'ts. That will tell you how to manage your own team. Do to them what you wanted to be done to yourself. If you're a first-time manager, it will take a little time for you to settle into your job, into your role. You may start out swinging between being dictatorial, giving sets of rules and regulations and instructions to being one with the team. You will swing from both ends. It's bound to happen. But as I said, remember those do's and don'ts that you wanted for yourself when you were a salesperson and apply those. In time, you will understand the right mix, what you need to employ with your team so that you get the best out of your team. Just remember, be empathetic. Empathy is a hallmark of a good sales manager or any manager, any leader. An empathetic leader is one who has the ability to put oneself in the other person's shoe and think. If something will hurt you, it can hurt the other person also. So trying to shove decisions down people's throat in your team will lead to resentment. Resentment could cause dissonance within the team, and dissonance within the team will lead to loss of respect. So it is important for you to be empathetic whenever you want to communicate something. If sometimes we have to communicate some hard decisions, management has a decision that it needs to drive, they need you to drive it, and you need the team to implement it. So sometimes we have to communicate some hard decisions, but it's in the way you communicate it. It is if you take that empathetic approach where you say, I understand the problem, I know this is going to be difficult, so let's both together sit and understand how to implement it, understand all the roadblocks, the challenges, and let's work together to address those. When you take this kind of an approach with the team, then the chances of resentment, dissonance dissipate, and consensus building becomes that much easier. Getting your team onto the same page becomes that much simpler. So it is important that as a leader and as a sales manager, you be a very empathetic person. Back your team. Do not throw the team under the bus just to protect your own reputation. A lot of managers do this. Please understand, the team does anything and everything based on what you tell them, and they expect that you will protect them in case things go wrong. Not all the time are they going to be right. They're going to be taking the right decision. Sometimes you may lose an order for some reason. You may disturb a customer for some reason. Things may not go as planned for some reason. It does not mean that the team should be held responsible unless there is some real serious issues. There is a time where you need to stand up and be a man. You need to stand up and be counted as a team leader. You need to stand up and tell the management that you are that insulation between them and the team. They need to address you if there is an issue. If there is some issue that needs to be redressed, then you are the one who will be sticking your jaw out. You do that and you will gain the respect on both sides. Management will know that we have a strong sales leader who will not only protect the team but will also therefore ensure that the team will follow him. The team, of course, will look at you as a great leader because in times of trouble, you have stood up for their cause. So as a leader, as a sales leader, it is important that you stand for your team, stand strong in front of your team and be that barrier between them and management. I hope these few points, few attributes that I brought up and discussed in this video would be of help and would hopefully help you to manage and lead your team better and take them on to the success that you want them to achieve. Until my next video, I wish you and your team all the very best. Take it easy.